I am like about intentions. Like I come from Southern women. So I want you to court me. That's how it goes. A man comes for the woman and she shows him how she can lay down a house, you know?
Oh. Does that mean that the woman is supposed to maintain the house and the guy is supposed to do everything outside of the house?
Women should have the choice to work if they want to, but I do believe that the man is the provider and then the woman, she makes sure his home is nice. And if you want to give me a bill or two, I'm not opposed to that either, but it's...
A bill or two?
Yeah.
What about 50-50?
Nah, I'm 50-50, but a bill or two.
We was raised by a single woman. So everything that a man can do, a woman can do. Like, in fact, my mom taught me how to fish. She taught us carpentry. She taught us electricity, you know.
And I could do all of those things.
Okay, all right.
Like I used to, I'm a builder. Like even when I'm in my salon, we can help each other. But you're gonna court me, you're gonna open the doors, bring me flowers, you're gonna tell me I'm beautiful, and then in return, I get to love on you and make you feel good and special.
What up, what up? This is your boy, Mike the Philosopher, along with Rochelle.
Hey.
What's up, what's up? And this is episode 12.
Finale.
Yeah, the season finale. And
Season finale.
oh, it was a crazy one. It was a crazy one. A lot of stuff that was not really expected, you know. And some things were expected, some things wasn't. You know?
I was only blown away by one thing. And I think everybody knows what that is.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna get into it.
We're gonna get into it.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk about the guys first. So,
okay.
What did you notice?
So this was the season finale, but it was also the week where the guys took the women to introduce them to their families.
Mm-hmm.
So we started off, Walter, of course, took Sabrina to meet his aunt and his sister. I believe it was his sister.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
And I didn't think Sabrina did too well in the interview or the meetup.
Yeah.
It seemed like it got a little bit uncomfortable for her, or maybe she, when they were asking her the question, it was a simple question, like, what do you see in Walter?
Right.
And she was like, his aura, his energy is just so, from the first day. And the sister was like, that's all you got?
What do you see in Walter?
When I first saw Walter, his aura, like literally it was coming off of you. I knew that this was someone that needed to be in my life for the rest of my life.
His aura and energy.
Right.
And she's like, well, it hasn't been that long. I just felt like she kind of got a little defensive, or I don't know, really didn't set like a really good first impression.
Right.
But overall, I think she got around that hump and things seemed to go well. But I will say, that was the first time I kind of was like, with them two together.
Really?
And another thing that, I don't know, I guess was unexpected was when Sabrina said that, from the moment she met Walter, that she knew from his energy that this was someone she needed in her life for the rest of her life.
Right.
Do you remember her saying that?
Mm-hmm.
And again, and I'm on Sabrina. I need to be talking about Walter. Okay.
I was going to get to that, but go ahead.
Yeah, so much of what Sabrina done and said this episode had my attention. But let me get to Walter.
Okay.
Walter, he didn't have much to say. It was more so for them to meet and greet and see how that looked. So I thought the meetup, went as well as could be expected.
Mm-hmm.
And so nothing changed, no negative on Walter from the meetup.
Right.
And I guess I'll kind of talk about their meetups first with their family, the introductions, and then kind of get to the season finale of where they chose.
Okay.
So all went well with the meetup with Walter's family. So then we go to Donte, and Donte introduced Aisha to his brother and his cousin.
Right.
I can't think of nobody but my brother Leroy and my cousin Darnell. To meet Aisha.
What's up? What's up? Come on in.
They know me. We grew up together. So if anybody who knows what I like, it'll be these two gentlemen.
And I think Donte got to learn a little bit more about Aisha, it seemed, that he didn't know. Because I know when she was answering her question, she seems to be a woman who's very much, believes in gender roles.
Right. I know. Yeah, I noticed that.
A woman's role is to do this. Right. And they, some people would say they might seem very traditional and not very modern, but that's where she is. That's where her beliefs are. Mm-hmm. And Donte seemed to be a little surprised and, just didn't know that those were her beliefs. It didn't seem like it turned him off or anything, but.
Right. Well, I from what I seen, it seemed like it was more of his brother and his cousin that was kind of questioning her on that. I mean, yeah, you're right. Donte did seem a bit surprised by that, but I think all the guys was surprised by that. Yeah,
definitely the brother.
Well, because you don't really hear that much. Like she's like a unicorn, really, when it comes to that. So I think that's why the guys were surprised, because a lot, even the other women that was in the group, they don't really move like that,
Right.
Like Tasia and people like and Zadia and stuff. They don't.
It's rare.
It's rare. It's rare.
But I thought that Donte's response to it, even though it seemed like it might have put off his brother and the cousin, he was still kind of like, well, that's what she believes, but I'm still interested in, seeing where things can go with us.
Right.
So like I said, I thought that went well. So
yeah, because they questioned her too, but I'll get into it a little later.
Yeah, the brother and especially the brother. Which I thought, I thought the brother did a good job of getting information for Donte.
Right.
Because it seemed like Donte, this was the first time that Donte was hearing all this information.
Right.
Which then again still leads you to believe, like, how deep have their conversations been if this is the first time you're hearing her ideas about a relationship and things like that.
Do that make you think that it was more a physical thing than a
Remember I said from the beginning, I just thought she was the D-League team for him. And so I never thought he was. And so now for it to be revealed that he didn't even really understand, what she desired in a relationship and her perspective on that, it's like, how deep have y'all's conversations really been?
Right. I mean,
even when he was talking about what he really enjoyed, I think he mentioned the massage.
Right. Yeah. That was physical. That's why I was asking, like, is it more of a physical connection than a mental connection?
I think it is. And because everything he said, even when he saw her walk up, it was about the dress and the massage and all this physical stuff. So, I mean, she's a gorgeous woman. She has a gorgeous body. And so I would hope that, and I can't even say for sure, but I would hope that he wouldn't just be so caught up in the physical that he's losing sight of getting to know who the woman is. Because you're going to be in a relationship with the woman, not just her big booty and
right
all that other stuff.
Exactly. So you think Donte handled it pretty well overall? Like if you had to give him a final finale grade, what would that be?
I would have to say overall, I would give Donte a 7.5.
Okay.
Overall finale.
For the season finale. We're not gonna count the whole reunion stuff because that's when a lot of stuff get exposed.
Right.
But for the season overall, through the whole season, he gets a 7.5. And what about Walter? I don't know if you did.
Walter. And I was just getting ready to go back to Walter. So Walter, for the season, I would give him an 8.
Wow. Okay.
I would give Walter an 8. Solid 8.
Cool.
And so next we have Frank. And Frank introduced, he actually introduced Momine and Sydney to his relatives.
I got my cousin Tony and my cousin Desiree. These are two people who are very, very close to me. I don't have siblings, and this is basically my brother and my sister. So with that, I'm expecting them to tell me every detail what they think of both of these ladies and whether or not they think we can move forward as a relationship.
And they both got a chance to kind of ask questions about who the woman is, which I think he brought his cousins. Yeah, a female cousin and a male cousin. And I really thought that they did a good job, again, of getting under the hood and really kind of asking some insightful questions to see who they really thought would be a good fit for Frank.
It's amazing that people don't really dig deep, entering into a relationship, and then someone from the outside just uncovers a lot of stuff that you didn't know.
That y'all haven't talked about.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I guess when they say that love is blind, maybe that's what they're talking about, because you're not really looking at the whole person. You're looking at some attributes that you've fallen for. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. I find that interesting.
Right. That was very interesting. And so like I said, they did both of the cousins did a really good job of asking questions to Momine and asking questions to Sydney. I think at the end, they walked away feeling like both of the women bring good qualities to the relationship, but they felt like Momine was a better choice for him. They said that she seemed more family oriented. I think they both loved that, she was very grounded in her faith.
Well, they're like, I think they like Sydney's personality. They said, yeah.
They said personality wise, Sydney wins, but on the other things, being a family woman, her faith, they thought Momine was a better match for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that went well. And again,
well, I was going to ask you, who do you like? I mean, we know the results and everything. But do you think Frank chose wisely? Like, who do you think Frank should have chose? Or did he choose right or did he choose wrong?
I absolutely think Frank chose wisely. Okay. And not that because I've been a fan of Momine's for the whole show, but I do think once I saw when she introduced him to her family and I saw the African root connections. I really started seeing them as a good match. Because at first I was like,
it sort of seemed like, because I remember when she first went and she went to go see his ex. I think it was her and Sydney. They both seen his ex, and to me, that was like the first time seeing them together. Like, what is this about? You know what I mean? Again, they probably was talking on the phone a lot of stuff that we didn't see, obviously, but it was like, what is this? And then next thing you know, they considering each other a strong connection. Like, but here's the thing. I don't know how real it is.
With him and Momine?
Yeah. Because they wasn't each other's first connection. Like Walter and what's his name? Donte, I believe, was Momine's first, right?
Right, definitely Walter.
Yeah, definitely Walter, and there was somebody else. And then, she has some other connections. So I don't think Frank was the first one. And Aisha was Frank's, and then when Sydney walked in the door, it was a wrap for him with Sydney. So it was like they wasn't initially drawn to each other from the gate. It feels like, and I could be wrong, but it feels like it was more of a let's get to the end type of situation.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
And I definitely, I don't know. I think there's some kind of motivation, some kind of perk if they make it to the end. Yeah. Because you will see people, and this has been in all seasons, where when your strongest connection, when that kind of fizzles or they leave, people will just start connecting with anybody. Okay, you know what? Now I like him.
Right,
You know,
right,
now-
right.
And it's like, okay. Which I think that can authentically happen, right? It can. But the way I've seen it done on the show, it is like there's a motivation to stay to the end.
Yeah, because I have a hard time, and I'll talk about this a little later, but I have a hard time believing that Sabrina came to her revelation at the very end. You know what I mean? It's like, you knew this. I don't know. You should have known this a long time ago. And when you get to the, you know, I don't want to say like the altar or whatever, but it was more like the, you know, the ceremonial, you know, we're gonna.
Yeah, I have my thoughts on that, and I think that was very intentional, the way that she played her cards with him.
Oh, okay.
Because she had been saying, and I'll get to when you get to it, but she had been saying, you know what, I'm kind of seeing some red flags, and you know, I just don't know. She had been saying that throughout, as far as Walter.
Walter and I's connection, it's always been strong, but there have been red flags. I don't like to be confused in my feelings. So I'm just thinking, like, am I ready for him to really meet my daughter?
Yeah, but. But here's the thing. All of the men, if you notice, all of the men have that issue. Walter, she said Walter had that. She said none of the men really connected with her. Frank's ex was said communication. Okay, and that was the reason why she, like I told you, men suck at we suck at communication. It's just one of those things, and Frank's ex said the same thing. I think even Naeem's ex was sort of saying some of that too.
Right.
You know.
But, okay. So I get that, and I'm gonna speak more about that when we talk about that whole thing.
Okay.
But I will say, I do think that Frank made a great choice with Momine.
Right.
And I think even if, you know, she was his second choice or third choice, I still think if they were to genuinely get to know each other, there could still be something there. But because we didn't really see their love story kind of play out until the end, when she lost Walter and he lost Sydney, okay, let's go ahead. So we don't really know what kind of vibe they have.
Right.
And then from the previews of the finale.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
That
overall,
part.
I gave Frank a 7.5.
7.5 for the season.
7.5 for the season.
Now, if I remember, Frank wasn't really your type. He wasn't your physical type. He wasn't your, I don't know, is he your mental type or what?
Mental, I will say, as I've watched the episodes, I would say yes, mentally he's my type.
Okay.
Physically no, but mentally I do think that I think he has pretty good conversation. And when I've listened to him when he's been in the men's lounge and he's kind of gave his perspective on the different women or situations, I've always respected and admired what he said and how he said it. He says it in a very respectful, you know, tactful way where he's communicating what he needs to say, but he's still, it's just still respectful of the situation and the women. So conversation wise, I would say yes.
Got you.
But remember, my thing with Frank is I thought he was just very superficial. I thought he was just all about appearances and things like that. I did say I raised him up to a 7.5 because I seen a little bit more depth with him. And I really started seeing it when the more time he spent with Momine, not the time he spent with Sydney. It just seemed like they were just like homeboy, homegirls. Like,
right.
We go out on the town, we have a good time.
Right.
But I started seeing more depth with him as the time he spent with Momine and her family. So, because at first Frank was like 5, 6, so he ended with a 7.5, same as Donte.
Okay.
And then the final guy, Mr. Phil, of course.
Well,
Um,
you didn't do Dante yet either. I don't think you did.
Yeah, Donte. Remember
Oh,
he
well, yeah,
Aisha to meet the
yeah,
brother.
yeah. What? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We talked so much about Aisha, I didn't really get a whole lot.
Right.
But did you
Yep.
give him a grade too?
7.5.
7.5. Okay.
7.5. Yep.
Okay.
And again, it's that same thing. You know, once Zadia was moved out the way and then he lost interest in Sydney, then he's like, I'll go to Aisha. And then kind of same with Aisha, because Aisha was like, initially she was with Phil. She was feeling Phil.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Chocolate Drop Sean came on the scene, it was kind of that. And then then it's Donte, and we have this, you know, so we don't really get to see didn't really get to see their love story develop. So you just left with what they have, and it's like, I don't really know about them.
Right.
And I don't think they really know about each other, because like I said, all he's talking about is the booty rub down and the blue dress. And she was talking about when the brother asked her, if we go back to them for a minute, when he asked her, like, what does she like about Donte? She said, he's so funny.
So what attracted you to Donte?
He is funny. And he listens to me.
Right.
Okay. But at this point, that's probably all you know about him, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But so yeah, they're still trying to figure it out to me. And I do wish them the best, because they both make beautiful couples. I mean,
right. Exactly.
And then Mr. Phil.
Mr. Phil
Brought Sydney to meet his aunt and cousin.
Yep.
And his aunt and his cousin.
I invited my aunt, my mom's sister. She's like my second mother now, and my cousin. She asked all the tough questions. And as I start to zero in on Sydney, I think this is just a natural next step.
And I thought that the meet and greet went well. I thought that Sydney answered the questions well. I thought she made a good impression on the aunt and the cousin. And it seemed like they all walked away like, you know, liking each other,
right.
You know. And I thought Phil, he handled himself well, which there was, you know, not much for him to do in that situation. But I think that he was delighted that Sydney made such a good impression on his aunt and his sister. I mean, his aunt and his aunt and his cousin. I think that was really important to him. Okay. And so yeah, I love that. You know what? And I was just thinking I probably should have. Well, I could still put it in there. I was gonna say I probably should have gave the score after I talk about the whole the season finale, when they did the whole I choose you type thing.
Right.
But the way all of that went, I thought, like I said, that Sydney did a good job with talking to the relatives of Phil, and he really appreciated that. What I really liked was at the season finale when they chose each other, which I pretty much knew Sydney was going to choose Phil. She was not going to choose.
Yeah, I think everybody
Frank.
was. Yeah.
And initially they tried to set it up like, you know, they
she was confused or conflicted.
Right. But I loved the compliment that he gave to Sydney, in that, you know, he was really looking for a woman that could speak life into him and that could have his back when he's down. And of course, he was referring to how Sydney just kind of really, you know, poured into him in spite of what was being said, that I know your character and the man that you are, and this is who I see, and I don't care what other people might be saying, you know, I'm not going to believe that. And I think that just, you know, took Phil to another level. And I could see any person, man or woman, like that really opening up your heart when somebody, when you're down and out and your character is being questioned to that level. Mm-hmm. And then this person comes in and says, that's not who you are. That's not who I see in you.
Yeah. So, I'll be honest, Sydney got some points for that one.
She did. I ain't even gonna lie. She did.
Yeah.
She did. And she did it as such it's not like she waited for the air to clear and everything to come out and there to be video footage to show. It's like in that moment, like, I don't have to see nothing, I don't have to hear nothing, I know you are not that man. And I think that just touched Phil to his soul.
Oh, it did.
Yeah. And I think that was very genuine too.
Every man wants a woman like that, ladies.
Yeah.
Every man wants a woman like that to hold them down. I mean, he goes out and slays the dragon every day, you know, work and dealing with all the things that, you know, especially black men got to deal with in this country and in this world. So when he come home, he wants a queen that's going to hold him down.
Right.
Instead of second guessing him, instead of being just as judgmental as the rest of the world, you know.
Right.
He wants someone who's going to hold him down, and he's going to hold you down. So, and like you said, even ladies would love that from their men. So
absolutely, that's what I was just getting ready to say.
Yeah,
like,
it's just a great quality.
Yeah. It is, and I'm not even going to lie. Like, I have had a lesson in that I've had to learn. And one thing that I used to do was, and I'm talking about when I've been in relationships with a guy, and he might be telling me about a past relationship where the girl cheated on him or she just mistreated him in some kind of way. Mm-hmm. And my response initially would be, well, what did you do to make her treat you like that? And what I've learned is that I shouldn't always, number one, assume that you've done something to deserve this type of treatment. Instead, you know, just acknowledge, like, you didn't deserve that. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry that happened to you. That wasn't right. Instead of like, well, you must have did something.
Right. Right.
So again, I thought Sydney did a great job when she, you know, the way that she did that. And Phil did definitely appreciate it and let her know that he appreciated that. And I liked how he expressed his appreciation for that.
Yeah, I'll talk about Sydney later, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
So overall for Phil, I feel he kind of rose back up to the top. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, like I was saying, with all of the stuff, even the whole Shiloh stuff and how he, you know, because he did, you know, I mean, look, I kind of knew Sydney was gonna, you know, do some of the, you know, things and kind of
shake some things up.
Yeah, she was gonna shake some things up from day one. I said, I told her, I said, look, y'all better watch your man, because this chick is she gonna steal somebody, man. She gonna take somebody, and I kind of knew. I seen it from day one, but you know, Phil is a good guy, but keep all that in mind. The stuff that he went through with Shiloh, keep all, you know, so all of that. So what's his grade with all of that in mind?
With all of that in mind, I would have to still put Phil at an 8. I'll put him at an 8.
So okay, so you got, so for the record, you got Phil at 8, Walter at 8, and the rest of the remaining guys at 7.5.
Yeah. So it wasn't a big difference between them.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like overall that's about where they landed.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think once, you know, the men did the choosing, right? When the women were, you know, they're making their selection. Of course, we knew that Walter was going to choose Sabrina. Mm-hmm. And I will say, I don't know. It was just little things he did where I was just like, I was questioning, like, what is the level of their connection? It just seemed like.
With who?
With Walter and Sabrina. It seemed.
I think it was a physical attraction. I think they both was attracted with each other physically, and I think they had a mental connection. I just think that, look, I don't know how Sabrina is on the phone. For whatever reason, none of the brothers want to talk to her on the phone. I don't know what it
You ain't
is.
getting no calls.
She's probably more of a physical person than than a person who can really carry a conversation on the phone. Like she might
To
be
be honest, it
different.
doesn't seem like she would be an enjoyable or pleasant person to talk to. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that because I see her like when she was at the mini golf and she was at things like that. She do know how to let her hair down. She do know how to crack jokes, and she do have a sense of humor. I don't know what it is about her on the
Yeah.
phone, or it could not be her. It could be the guys. You know, they just did not like, but it seemed like they were talking to the other ladies on the phone. That's how you got the Frank and Momine connection. That's how you got
Right.
the Donte and
Donte
Aisha
and Aisha.
connection because they were on the phone.
Right.
But for whatever reason, they do not want to talk to Sabrina on the phone.
Yeah.
So
I don't think Sabrina would be, and I'm just talking about from the majority of her interactions with the men. It would be, they would say something, some women, like a man will say something and you're going to say something that's in direct opposition to it, almost just because.
You think it's a little bit of bouginess and snobbiness?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That Sabrina's coming with and probably carries that on the phone.
I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, that might not even be the right term. I think maybe even a little arrogance. And like this air of superiority, or like I'm doing a favor, talking the phone on you. I could see her coming across like that. So yeah, I'm not completely surprised. And I think even when she kind of, put the pie in Walter's face, which, like I said, I think that was very intentional, the way she did it. I almost think like she looked at Walter like, dude, you think you gonna, treat me like this and nothing is done? Like, so I think that was her way of kind of getting back at him. Because at the end of the day, here's the deal. If it was just a matter of him not communicating with you, the frequency that you wanted, that's a conversation. That's, hey, I want us to talk on the phone more. And for you to do it like that lets me know, was it like this hurt your ego? This, you felt like some kind of personal.
Yeah. You know what? Can I go into the ladies?
Yes.
I'm gonna start with Sabrina. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I just think that Sabrina is used to guys chasing her down.